Hello, this is the tutorial. I'd like to talk a little bit on Autodesk Forma and how you can use it for your site design. So first thing you want to do is register a free user account with your Autodesk student. You can use your UC email. So once you set up Autodesk Forma, you can log in to this cloud-based interface. Since I already did this, so I will just show you how to get started with a new project. So the first time when you log into Forma, you most likely will see an interface similar like this one. So on the left, you have your hub. I'm not really sure free student user account. Since I'm an educator, so I have a little bit maybe different resource available for me. So by default, you should have a hub. So I have this hub by default set up a long time ago. It's called UC DAP. If you don't have this, let me know. I can help you to set it up. So now, once you have a hub, then the next thing you want to do is create a project, right? Instead of create a new hub, I will just using this hub name called UC DAP. And under my hub, I'm able to create a new project. So here you have these options to create a new site, demo site, and board. I will go ahead and create a new site, which will be embedded within your hub. So for the new project, I'm going to create a brand new, which is under my hub. And I give this project called, I think this is the leak run 2. I will just give a name easier for me to trace. Okay, so this is it. You create a new project, then I click create. So basically, Autodesk is calculating all the default coordinates I can use to create my first site. So in my opinion, the best way to do is you just simply copy paste your address. This is in Ohio, Cincinnati. So I'm going to just type this, and then let's see if the AI is able to point directly to. So this is the suggestions. So I will just pick the first one, which is accurate. Right, I basically see this bounding box, which represent the maximum areas I can create. Definitely, I will go ahead to zoom in. I don't need, if you zoom way out, you can see the entire Cincinnati. So I will zoom in. I'm pretty confident our site is about 2 blocks. So I think this is one. Well, let me double check. Yeah, I think this is the 2 blocks I'm using because I know there's a small stream here. But later you can load in a satellite image to help you to identify the correct site. Yeah, I think this is the 2 site. If you like, you can also zoom out a little bit so you can see a little bit better context. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these 2 sites are the one I want to use. Okay, then I'm going to confirm my map. Okay. I could also add everybody into my team as members, but I think it's better you just create by yourself from scratch. Alright, so now we're done. We have our site, right? Leak run number 2. So what the Autodesk is doing is loading some base map for me, and then I can add additional features. So let's wait a little bit until this is fully loaded. Okay, after 2 minutes, the loading is done. Then the next thing I'm going to do is adding some additional data, we call it outer data on top. So basically, I do want to have maybe the basic package. So I will add. I will use exactly the same boundaries. Okay, click outer. Okay, so I got the base one in. You can also add other data like terrain. You can also add, I believe, level of detail 1, level of detail 1, overture buildings. You can add OpenStreetMap, you can add in trees, you can add the satellite image. Alright, so let's keep everything as a basic. I don't want to overload too many stuff. So let's just take a look at what we have just with the basic starter pack. Okay, so I will close this and let's take a look. The map is actually not bad. I mean, we don't have the high resolution imaging satellite, but I think we have really basic stuff, which is good enough for this purpose. So I can tell this is the nearby, I think this is a school or apartment really close, and at the bottom part of the valley, this is our two sites. Okay, cool. So we're done. We got this baseline map. Automatically, you can see there are a couple of things happened. First, on the right, you have your first proposal 1, and also you have layers. Layers, you can turn off terrain if you don't want to see it. Untitled base, you have building, which if I turn off, you can see this is your building, and also you have some basic roads. Right, this is all basic from the starter pack. I think this is good enough. Yeah, we can definitely do a lot of things from there. But before I do any proposal, I do want to highlight, seems like there are some existing buildings here which I don't really need because I want to have a very clean site. So the first thing I will probably do is get rid of some of the buildings, then we can go from there. Okay, so to do some editing, you can actually see there is an option here on the right, on the right side. It's called Edit Base to make changes for your building. Right now we have 289 buildings. That's a lot. You can also do some drawing for your site limits, which we'll do next. So let me do some base editing. So if you're in the editing mode, I believe you can actually select individual building. Yes, and then let's using delete key on the keyboard. Yeah, it's gone. That's good. I didn't read any tutorial, just based on my intuition. I think this should be the default mode. Okay, so I got rid of some buildings I don't need. I want to have a clean site. The same thing I believe is for this part. Can I make a selection? Yeah, I can select multiple buildings and delete. That's better. Okay, so I got rid of these buildings. Cool. So I'm done with my re-edit the site. So here we can click done. You might also notice you have these purple rectangular boundaries on your screen. This means you are in the editing mode of your site. So usually you want to get out. Then you can see the whole site is pretty clean. Another thing you might notice is also a suggestion here on the right is draw site limits. Because in the future we want to actually do some solar wind analysis, so we don't want to do the entire the valley. So it's a good idea you define the site limits, and also site limits will give you these FAR, GFA values. It's very convenient. So let me do some site limits. The best way you can do is just simply draw. Right? You can use the tool is called freeform. You can do rectangular shape. You can do. I think you can also trace existing shape. That's neat. Let's see if we can trace existing shape. No, there's no shape there. So I will just draw. It's fun. You don't have to be super accurate. I think we can just roughly get the boundaries. Since we know we have two blocks, so I want to make sure I include both of them. I'm also gonna include the a little bit, the water stream into my site. Okay, so I'm done, and then please enter to finish. Yep. So I got my site boundaries. Right, that's shown up here. So immediately you see some square foot show up here, but since I don't have any building, all of this FAR value is 0 for now. Okay, so the next thing I plan to do is adding some buildings. There are many ways you can add a building. So for example, you can do site automation. You can use AI to generate multiple building solutions. You can do building with line, basic shape, freehand sketch. You can also modify the terrain, you can modify the roads, you can do generic volumes. So there's many different ways. So if I want to do a site automation, I can basically trace, let me do this really quick. I can basically trace the boundaries, right? And boom, you have the building show up, which I think is a pretty quick way if you have not got any clear idea what you want to do with your massing. This could be handy for the beginners. So right now I have the basic types called city blocks. In the city block, you can actually change different configuration, and you can immediately see this FAR value gonna update, right? So you can say, hey, maybe I like hugging the edge. I may have this courtyard situation. You can define the number of floors. Let's see, I want to do 6. You see the update in almost real time. You can also change the height. By default it's 10 feet, right? So this is the kind of parameters. You can actually do this in Grasshopper as well. So this is a basic type called city blocks. You can also do is a linear kind of solution. This is in a lot of large scale real estate development. Is basically cookie cutter kind of approach. So you can have these different settings. Again, you can manipulate this. You can also do mixed, which has both block and also this linear mixed together. And then you can do the tower-like building, right? Usually this is good for super high downtown. You can have this building, but it's not really appropriate for our site. So I will just show you there are so many options here. The nice thing about this approach is if you are a developer, if you want to reach certain type of FAR, let's say 3, right? So by just quickly testing this module in Autodesk Forma, you can sort of get this value quickly. In my opinion, this is a good way as a starting point to figure out how many buildings you need, what's roughly height, right? The ratios. Of course, I think our FAR is relatively like a 1 or something, so it's really low. You definitely not want to do this kind of 12 stories. So I will go back to 4, and you can see the FAR is 1.7, and I will choose even smaller one, so you can get the basics. Okay. All right. So once we created this building, I just want to show you. Automatically, you can see this building will show up in the default building layer. Right. This is pretty handy. In the future, if you don't want this building anymore, you can do edit, right? So you can always go back to this interface, and then you can choose empty to get rid of this building. Why can't I get rid of them? Oh, I got it. It's a little bit tricky. You just need to right click, make sure you are in the building layer. You right click, then you can choose delete. Yeah, I think the empty here is just making the entire grid as an empty grid. So sorry for that. So I can just simply right click, delete. So the building is gone. Okay, so that's automation. Other options, I think I will just leave this to you. You guys can figure out by yourself. Create a basic building form, and then you can basically shape the footprint based on your own logic. But I don't want to do this right here in Forma. No, you can just do free form. I want to actually show you how to do this in Rhino and then transfer from Rhino directly into Forma. Okay, so let's get started with Rhino model. This is the site model I gave you earlier for the lake run, right? And I just put a few boxes there representing my massing model. This is just basic surface model in Rhino. I do want to mention, because my model is in the sea level, So this is 0, 0. So the building, I mean, this model is actually floating in the air. So I'm not sure if Forma would prefer the model sitting on the ground, but let's take a look. Okay, so I'm going to select all of this building. Then I'm going to exporting them into OBJ. So we'll see if that's gonna be taken by Forma correctly. By the way, my unit is inch. Okay, so I just put this in a maybe download folder. All right, so I give this name is called Run building massing. Right, just building. When you're exporting OBJ, it automatically convert all the polygon into mesh. Mesh is basically a triangularized geometry. I use fewer polygons because my building is pretty much just a box. But if you have a curved shape, you probably want to increase the number of polygons. Right. So I'm done. Then back to Forma, I want to go ahead loading this OBJ file into this interface. Okay, so in the editing, well, in the default mode, here is a bunch of tools, right? There's one called import model. Looks like a circle with arrowhead. So here I'm going to load in OBJ file. Okay, so it's uploading the model. Let's see if that works. Okay, so the model is there. Interesting. Yeah, it seems like it has a way to figure out this should close to 0, 0. That's quite interesting. Even though my building is kind of floating above the sea level, I'm not sure the coordinates. Well, that's just using the default. Because my original model was accurate, so I'm hoping this OBJ scale will be accurate as well. So save and close. So now in the library, right, you have this new OBJ file. And then let's see if we can just using this directly in our site. So you have something large in scale, none may behave like expected, fit escape to cancel. Okay, what that mean? Yeah, it doesn't give me a warning. Something is like a 9 miles. Okay, apparently I don't think this is liking the inch as the unit, right? Because my building is not 9 miles big. So let me do something to reduce the units. Oh, I think I know the reason. In the OBJ file, let me go back to the 3 dot. I want to reconfigure the import settings. I think I didn't put the units. So if I choose inch, yeah, that should be correct. Yeah, by default is meter. Good to know. So if you switch to inch, save and close, that should be good now, right? So now if I do this one more time, yes, that is a correct scale. Super. So now we have this in. Okay, why is always giving me the warning? Okay, so I think I'm done with the library. Import, let me see the building static. So it has this called generic. If I turn off, yeah, because this is defined as a generic model right now, which is good. So this is generic. But why I still have this warning? Let me make sure we are not putting too many same objects over and over. Okay, I'm sure this is the correct one. Generic, right? Yeah. So now you have the generic building, which matching exactly like the Rhino model. Done. Okay. You could actually modify this a little bit by moving this. If the position is not accurate, you can reposition them, can rotate them. But I'm pretty happy with the result. It's directly import from Rhino instead of automatic done through AI. The next thing I like to do is do some really quick environmental analysis. All right, so let's get continue. Besides using OBJ, there's other ways you can connect Rhino using extensions. Um, well, add kind of bridge between Forma to Rhino or to Revit. Um, so here, if you search, you can actually see this plugin for Rhino. But I don't want to demonstrate for this tutorial. You guys feel free to search online. You can find tons of tutorials about this approach. I was just using the OBJ, right, for this demo. All right, so when you bring the OBJ in, it's basically a generic. So that means it's not being treated as building yet. There's some benefit because if it's a generic, that means if you right click, you can actually do some editing directly to this generic model. So edit in 3D Sketch, and then here have the tools you are able to manipulate. You can do freeform, you can union, sweep, loft, offset, all kinds of tools available. You can also pick individual point, then you can move this point to reshape the model. But this is something you can definitely do it easily here in Forma, or you can go back to Rhino, do it in Rhino. Okay, so I will undo. I just assume we are pretty happy with my current massing model, generic model. I just want to create a really simple building, right? So if you look at on the right, you see this is added in 3D Sketch, is a generic, and all the FAR, GFA value are 0. The reason is it's not being treated as building yet. So if you recall Revit, you have a massing model which is generic, right? But you can definitely create other details out of this massing model. So the way you can do it is I can make a selection of this. Let me see if we are able to add floors directly into this massing model. Okay, so here I will click Edit in 3D Sketch. So instead of using tool here, you can see here's an option called Add Floors. So here if I click Add, by default I can do this as 10, 10, 10, floor 4 will be 13, right? So you can actually adding floors directly here. Or maybe I do a 13 for floor 1. You can do 13 or 15. Yep, you have 3 floors. Okay, interesting. I can do 4. Yeah, that means you can because the one floor is less than 10, right? That's not good. So maybe I will just make the floor 1 as 12. Can I type 12? 12, enter, right? And I can do another level. Okay, so 12, 10, 10, 11. I think this is good, right? So I will just keep this as my default. So see, it's automatically cutting this massing model into 4 levels. It also automatically changed my generic layer to building layer. That's pretty neat. Okay, so I'm done. Good. So when I exit the editing mode, now you'll see the FAR, right? GFA, these values all updating. That's pretty nice. Okay, so that basically means this massing model now has been understood as floors. Because my random model, I didn't model very carefully some floors underneath, but you get a point. You have to get an accurate model in the first place. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with my result. I know everything is in the layer. By the way, you don't have to save. Forma is automatically save your file. All right, then let's do a little bit analysis. Okay. So let me take a quick look in the display. I think I want to display building shadow, maybe a little bit, make it visible, have some shadows. Okay, so first thing I like to do is to do a solar study, right? So I have my proposal 1, and here you can see in the area matrix, I already have the basic FAR. I didn't define the floor units. But if you do, you can actually see the number of units here. What I really want to do is just some really basic solar analysis. So sun hours analysis, that's the first one. Let's say I want to do, let's say maybe in the January 21st, right, winter day. For the analysis area, I don't want to do the entire model. I want to just do my site. Does it pick up my site? Analysis site limits. Okay, so just make sure you only do the building within your site, right? So this is my site limits. In our case, it could be a different value, a different name. January 21st, and then I will run analysis. Right, this should be fairly quick. I think it's done, and then I will view the history. Okay. Since this one is done by Forma, it's really fast. You can quickly see in that winter day, I don't have much lighting on the surface facing north, right? And also you can tell, hey, if I have a courtyard, this courtyard doesn't really see much light in the lower levels. So these are the things you could start to think about. You can also just highlight the surface with this kind of issues, right? You can do the filter. You can run a different day. So it's very straightforward. Okay. So now I have my first image on the solar, on the hours. You can also do, for example, compare. We can do a different day or different type of analysis. I will close for now. I just want to do another quick analysis. Besides, what is this side? Edit base to make changes. Oh, it's complaining there's no roads. That's okay, guy. Do I have to define the roads? Yeah. Well, I don't really worry too much about the roads. So let's do another quick one. Is the daylight potential. The difference between hourly and daylight potential is this gonna calculate all year long, not just a single day. So same thing, I'm running this in my selection. I'm running this using the default AI engine. Okay, so we'll see. Depends on our computer. This will maybe take a little bit of time. Oh, by the way, this is actually all handled online. It shouldn't matter what kind of GPU you have. So here, if I look at my daylight potential, right, you can see a very different visualization. This is all year long, so you can sort of see accumulate for 360 5 days. This is the daylighting potential. So if you're not sure what exactly this means, you can go to help, and here you can read some articles about what exactly is the daylighting potential. Okay, so that is linked directly into Autodesk help. You guys can dig it out. Okay. You can also filter, the settings. All right. So I have this really good daylighting potential. You can also click compare. You can compare with a different proposal, different configurations. We have proposal 1, but you can have another proposal. You can compare them side by side. Okay, we have a sun hours. Oh yeah, you can also compare the same proposal, just the two different analysis. So this is the hours versus solar potential. Pretty nice. Okay. All right, so I will actually do one more. I will close this. Oh, sorry, I should actually just go back to, yeah, I will quit the compare tag. Okay, quit the compare tag. That's weird. I will just go back. Okay, now it's reloading. By the way, this is all automatically saved, so it's pretty. Oh, saving failed. I'm not sure. We'll see. Seems like everything is there. So I will do another quick one. It's called wind analysis. So here is just calculating the wind pattern. in a very small region. Then you can view the history. You can see the detailed. You can click direction. You can see in this area majority of the wind is come from this southwest. You can see the wind speed. There's all kind of data you can use to help you to define. If I have public space outside my building, is that comfort for people to sit, to walk, right? You can have some analysis to do with the wind. And also you can go dive into other options like a microclimate. This is related to the comfort level for outdoor seating, all kinds of activities. You can do solar energy analysis, many things. Let me actually run a few, just see if the computer is able to display. You can do shadow study, right? Very cool. You can do embodied carbon. I think this one probably not accurate for now. We have to define, is this a commercial, residential, or office, right? We haven't got that information in yet. So I wouldn't trust the carbon analysis at this point. But if you guys want to really, highly detailed functions for the building, then I think you can get a pretty accurate carbon. Okay. Yep. See here the function is unspecified, but you can maybe I would just change everything to residential. Right? They have a different energy CO2 carbon footprint. You can also create new functions. Right? So if you have a hotel or storage warehouse, this you can define that. Okay. Yeah, I think this tutorial is a little bit getting too long. Hopefully, I think you guys will dig into it. Just play with all kinds of solar analysis, wind. You can also do noise analysis. If you don't understand what exactly is this doing, just check the help. This could give you some clues. So this is mainly on the roof, right? But also you can do customized building. So this is all the vertical facade. Okay. All right. Anyway, I think that's it. That's a pretty long tutorial. Hopefully, you are able to use it to do some really quick analysis. Yeah, I think I didn't save some of them. So we have. Let me see what we have right now. We have solar potential. We do have sun hours. That's wonderful. Right. Yep. So this is good. So you can actually do analysis or compare. You can also do solar energy. I think this is one we just saved recently. Yeah, this is solar energy. Can we do 3 of them? I wonder. Just add one. No. I thought you should be able to do 3 side by side. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, I will leave this to you. I'm pretty confident you guys can figure out how to do more. Oh, here we go. You just need to click. That's good to know. Okay, so we have these 3 compared environmental analysis in Autodesk Forma. That's it.